All right, in case you missed it yesterday, Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw was a guest on NBC's Meet the Press, and Chuck Todd did not exactly give him a warm welcome. Take a listen.
This isn't that important to people.
Well, but why should anybody believe a word you say if the Republican Party itself doesn't have credibility?
The press is largely liberal. They're largely pro-Democrat.
No. Don't start that. That is the late look. There's nothing lazier. There's nothing lazier than that. Excuse.
Well, joining me now is author of the upcoming, soon-to-be bestseller, Speechless, and host of the Michael Knowles Show, Mr. Michael Knowles. Michael, we're almost a month out from the book. Congrats on that.
Thank you so much. You know, I'm now about 4 months into plugging this book everywhere I possibly can. So to think that we're actually going to release it soon is really, really shocking. But I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the pre-sales.
You bet. So a couple things that caught my eye on this. So Chuck Todd, former Democratic operative and TV host, is talking to Dan Crenshaw, former Navy SEAL, combat wounded veteran, and asking him why anyone would believe him. I don't understand where someone like that gets off saying that to somebody.
You know, I can't say that I saw this exchange live when it happened because I never watched Chuck Todd's show, because I don't see what the point of that would be. I read plenty of left-wing outlets and I watch plenty of left-wing commentators, but I don't watch left-wing activists masquerading as objective newsmen who disrespect the intelligence of their audience and who disrespect very serious members of Congress. There's just no reason to do it. Dan Crenshaw has more credibility in his little pinky than Chuck Todd has in his entire program. And so it's disrespectful, but it's the sort of thing that we've come to expect now. And it's the only advice I might have is to tell Republicans to stop going on these ridiculous shows.
Agreed.
Yeah. I want to switch gears here for a minute, get your take on a clip from CNN yesterday. Listen to this.
You have these really, I think, searing visuals. If you're of a certain age, particularly, brings you back to, I mean, I think Republicans would love to bring people back to the Carter years. For the American public, there's something psychological about hearing about inflation and seeing gas lines and literally going to the pump in certain southern states and not being able to get gas.
All right, so that was Abby Phillips. You know, I think that you are as young as me and don't remember President Carter and people waiting in lines, but people are, sorry, Sean, people are concerned that there is going to be major inflation. I don't know if she is, you know, giving a pat on the back to Republicans there saying, I told you so.
You know, I've been told that nostalgia is history after a few drinks, and I know that conservatives sometimes, we entertain a lot of nostalgia for the good old days, but now we've gotten a peek. We've gotten a peek into the Carter years. We've got the gas lines, we've got the record inflation, we've got the economy teetering. It's kind of this weird economy where we shut the whole thing down for a year, but not looking great. And so I guess the past wasn't always better than the present, and we're also reminded that no matter how much things change, the more they can stay the same. If you repeat the same failed policies, in the case of Joe Biden, with the same failed people, Biden was a prominent politician during the Carter years, then you're going to get the same results. And I think people are going to probably be looking for an alternative.
You know what was interesting about that? During the Carter years, we actually did have gas. That's the difference. You had to, you know, at least where I grew up, like depending on the end of your license plate, you got to go one day versus another, whatever. But you actually had gas. Well, I drive around the D.C. area. Washington, D.C., over 80% of all gas stations have no gas. And I think it's interesting. All of this is happening. Israel's in shambles right now with this attack that Hamas is launching in that Joel Rosenberg just talked about. People are losing their lives. You've got all of these things. The border's a mess. And Abby Phillip at CNN is saying, oh, Republicans are gloating or whatever. Where's the concern about what's actually happening? People who are hurt by these policies. And, oh, by the way, any kind of accountability of the Biden administration.
Well, it's a total meta-political narrative. You're seeing what this woman is admitting is that all Democrats care about is the messaging here. She's saying, this is a bad thing because it's giving Republicans an opening. The classic example of this, you see it in every headline. After there's a Democrat scandal, you will see Republicans pounce on the scandal. Oh, the story is somehow always how Republicans point out what's going on. But as you say, Sean, you put it very well, people are really being hurt here. I mean, frankly, I thought I was going to hurt some people when I pulled into 3 gas stations and I couldn't fill up my car. But there are even bigger issues than the gas tank here. You're seeing the Middle East falling apart because of Joe Biden's policies. You'll notice these sorts of things weren't happening when President Trump had a clear and different foreign policy. And you're seeing people being hurt in the United States, too. And that's the real story. The Republicans pouncing is a secondary story because we're actually pointing out the problems from these policies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Michael, always great to have you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your insight.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.